Well, I hope this will help you with the last week. And I did make a couple of mistakes with your essay formatting. And my apologies. I think I unsuccessfully merged two assignments and made it confusing. And so kind of streamlined it and made sense out of it. So let me go to that. It's on the home page. Basically, two paragraphs of why Montaigne and Barré deserve credit for the Nobel Prize. One paragraph explaining Gallo's contribution, and another explaining why he, in spite of those contributions, didn't get the Nobel Prize. And then you're going to bracket them by an introduction. Let me take a minute on that. Who, what, where, when, and why. Most of your papers have been based solely on the book, and the band played on, though Gate and Dugas went beyond the book. So your who here is going to be the Nobel Prize in 2008 for HIV was given to French doctors, Montaigne and Barré. So I've got who and what, kind of even where with Nobel Prize and when. And then you get into the why. And this created quite a stir in the scientific community. That's the why. Because the American scientist, Dr. Gallo, who contributed so much to the discovery of HIV, was excluded from that prize. So that's your context. And then you get a thesis. And then, it can be as simple as something to the effect of, well, Gallo certainly did make significant contributions. The French discovered it. And thereby they deserve, or you might want to emphasize Dr. Gallo's sort of dishonesty is likely what kept him from being awarded the Nobel Prize. Either way, your who is the Nobel Prize 2008 awarded to the French scientist for the discovery of HIV. Created quite a stir in the scientific community because the American scientist, Dr. Gallo, who had contributed so much to the discovery of the virus, was excluded. So that's your essential background. You always want to have who, what, where, when, and why, very specific to your topic. And then I've given you an essay structure. Now, all of these, I want you to have quotes from two sources. And you've got a couple of articles from week 5 and a couple from week 6. They're all on the same subject. And I also, want you to use a reference from the book in each of the paragraphs. So you're going to bring in two sources for the focal point of each paragraph. The reason that is that's the kind of thing you're going to want to do when you take 1A and get start writing research essays. And also, it's just a way of coordinating a couple of quotes on the same topic. You need your critical reading collection so that you understand what it's about. You need your critical thinking selection so that you get those quotes that really support the same idea. And then you need your critical writing reflection so that you make it all hold together in a paragraph. And so you can link to the final week module. We just went over the first page, but the second page just reminds you of the process. Collection, selection, reflection. You've got to get all your ducks in a row, do the reading well. You've got to make sure you have the quotes from all your readings, and of course the topics and the understanding. It's not just quote heavy. You need basically your strong ideas, I should say, and then your quotes to back them up. So strong ideas first, quotes second. Your strong ideas are your topic sentences. The quotes are what you use to back up your ideas. And reflection. So if you have trouble writing, go back to your notes. If you can't do reflection, that's your writing. Go back to your notes. Do I have good topics? Do I have good quotes to back up those good ideas, those good topics? If you don't have that, go back to the reading. Don't just stare at the page. That's why I like this. I don't know why that little goober thing got stuck there, but I think it's because when I made this, I already had the screen share on for this recording. And I want a couple other things that'll kind of help you out here. Oftentimes people will say, well, Gallo wasn't awarded because they wanted to recognize another scientist. They're the 3 Nobel Prizes going out for biology. But check it out, 108 times out of the total of 603 Nobel Prizes and 962 laureates, 108 times that prize was shared by 3 people. So it's not like they don't do it. In fact, they do it quite often. All right, so that's just to kind of break it down there. And it's very often in the sciences, physics, chemistry, medicine, because these areas often involve, a great deal of collaboration. So some people will say, oh, Gallo didn't get it because, they wanted to include somebody else. Well, no, they could easily have included him, and there are many people who think he should have been included. So he was excluded for a very specific reason. And I don't know, I can't prove this, but I would argue, I just have the first excerpt, but I would argue if you read on page 371 or so, this is the title, September 17th, Pasteur Institute. This is about how, this is 1983, how he starts claiming credit and knocking the French. And this is September 1983, so the French have already discovered it. They've sent Dr. Gallo samples of their virus. In September of that same year, he's saying, I've got it. French don't know what they're doing. And then in the next year, he's going to claim he discovered it. The only problem is, of course, you realize, is that Schultz talks about this, 528 to 531, the virus Gallo used in his discovery was the virus the French gave him a year earlier. So that's not so good. And then finally, you get a number of articles from 1999. Malcolm Gladwell, one of our great journalists in the Washington Post, talking about how, yes, Gallo's 1984 discovery was based on the virus the French sent in 1983. And then I give it to you in a PDF as well. So that's another thing, is that it's very clear that he announced the discovery, but he based his research on the virus the French gave him, and in no way did he give the French credit. In fact, if anything, he knocked their research. And he knocks it quite a bit here on page 371. So I think that's, it's a few pages of extra reading in that single handful, but I think that would be very important so you get an idea of why Gallo didn't get the Nobel Prize. And then finally, you can go on to the essay. I've changed the prompt again. 2 body paragraphs why Montagnier and Barré deserve the Nobel Prize. One explaining Gallo's great contributions, and a second explaining why, in spite of those great contributions, he did not get the Nobel Prize, and a conclusion. So it's a much more streamlined version. Keep in mind, each paragraph will have quotes from 2 sources. That's the goal. And just trying to prepare you for bringing in multiple sources for the same idea, which is really at the heart of your more challenging essays in 1A. So I wish you good luck on this, and I hope you all understand I'm here, I'm available if you want to get a hold of me. And it's Sunday morning. I'm going to spend the rest of the day just doing Sunday stuff, but I'll hit your essays Monday, and then I'll get caught up on your homework between Tuesday and the final so that all of your grades are up to date by the time of the finals. Also, if anybody wants to send a draft, I'd be more than happy to look it over. And I will have a class hour on Tuesday night, not Thursday night, from 6 to 7. If nobody shows up, I'll probably duck out about 6:15. But if somebody wants to show me a draft of their essay or look over one of the earlier essays, all of which will be corrected on Monday, feel free to contact me then. You guys are to be commended for making it through a very tough and quick semester. And my apologies for getting a little bit garbled on the final essay prompt. Hopefully this arrives in time to help you shape your final product. Feel free to email if you have any questions.